Greetings and good vibes, comrades. You're tuning in to the Leon Block. I guess we'll get to a story in a minute, but I know people have probably been wondering uh, why I have not really spoken much about. Sorry, I had to eat a strawberry. Why I have not really spoken much about the Buffalo and Texas shootings. And it's not that I don't want to or that I won't. It's just I'm sitting back and analyzing things that I've been analyzing for 25 years. And every time I would bring certain things up, people would label me crazy or insensitive or not understanding or rude or all of the above. And so I also feel because I don't have kids and I've never been involved in any kind of shooting, don't have much of an association to guns. Uh, I have always felt, and other people have always pushed me into feeling that I don't really have a voice in some things. But my thing is, I also feel like I have a different perspective given that I can sit back and look at all that's going on. And tonight, you will get two podcast episodes where I dive deeper into this, right? So there's a lot of racial shit going on. It's a racial reckoning, right? We've been dealing with this for 2 motherfucking years now, right? 2 years. And in those 2 years, you tell me what has changed. You tell me when it comes to the quote unquote Black Lives Matter movement, the so-called war on drugs, what has changed? These shootings, right? Um, I want to take the Uvalde, Texas incident and put that to the side for a second. Let's talk about the black vote for a second, right? Because that just got swept under the rug really quick. I posted a meme the other day saying Will Smith and Jada Pinkett and the Chris Rock slap was in the media longer than 11 people getting slaughtered in the supermarket. And I feel like white people, a lot of quote unquote liberals and Democrats don't want to talk about the race part of it. They don't want to talk about, as much as possible, the white supremacist part of it. They just want to talk about rednecks and guns and gun rights and gun laws. And we should be talking about those things, but we also should be talking about the racial component of it and how black and brown communities are still fucking vulnerable. And I don't think anyone wants to seem to talk about, protecting our people. No one seems to provide a solution for the whole side of Buffalo that is affected by this situation. And then another incident happens. But these two incidents are one of dozens and dozens that have already happened this year. So why are these ones? I'm just saying, why are these ones getting put to the forefront? Everything's going back to race, I'm saying. But they don't want to hear me talk about that, though. You know? Everything goes back to race. So, the town that the city I live in, when I started in 2020, like with, getting into this movement, this specific one with George Floyd's death, murder, I had met a group of what I deemed like nice people, but a bunch of white people who just befriended me out of nowhere, and it was really weird. It was really strange, and things were moving so fast. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I was new to everything, and I was learning so much so fast, and trying to be aware of my surroundings as much as possible because I didn't trust anyone, especially these white people, right? And what I've come to find is my intuition was right because these people were not to be trusted. These people did not care about my who I am or my best interest. They didn't have any interest in what I wanted. They just wanted to use me and use people like me. And they use our narratives and use our stories to form their own and justify the things that they want without helping us get the things that we need. They don't want our faces, they want our stories. They don't want to acknowledge us, they want to exploit us though. And the thing is, a lot of people just don't want to, I guess, stir the pot. And I don't think it's about stirring the pot. I think it's about Black people continuing to feel like when there's something going on and we want to express our voices and opinions about it and being fed up and being upset and just have a space to feel safe and cry and do, our own thing, our own vigil, it always seems to get sideswiped by some larger whitewashed event that does nothing to uh, talk about the issues that are actually mattering, like the things that we're talking about at hand, like how this concerns race. And if you're not talking about the Black and brown people, the Latinx people in Texas, but you want to, like, it doesn't make any sense. Oh, it does. People want to feel comfortable to feel radical. A lot of white people do. And you know what? Like, that in turn makes everybody else feel uncomfortable. Black and brown people. And this is something that I felt all too real today. I watched, we're talking about, you know, um, we don't need no fucking, we don't need no more prayers. We want action. We want tangible action. We want something to happen and something to change, right? Prayers and kumbaya and symbolism doesn't do a motherfucking thing at all. I want to know how Black and brown people feel about this. I want their voices, their words, their feelings to the forefront. I'm tired of feeling pushed aside and white people getting the chance to speak the narrative when this has nothing to do with, they're not the people that are being affected the most by this. Black and brown people are. And again, our feelings seem to not matter. This, where I live, it's like where I am, it's a constant feeling that your voice is always, someone out there is always trying to silence a Black and brown voice around here. And I know that that's something that echoes all around the country and world. What I've seen happen, for me and where I am, is total co-opt. And me personally, I can speak to me is that like I've gotten to a place where I'm trying to ignore it and rise above it, but at the same time, it's constantly like slap in the face, slap in the face, slap in the face, slap in the face. We don't care about you, but we're gonna use your story and say, "Hey, liberation! Hey, we want this! Hey, we're gonna get that! Hey, Linkster comes out and shows up." No, the rich white people from the suburbs do, and you say that everyone's voice matters, but I don't see any other people's voices here that actually matter. Let me tell you. Let me tell you something, right? I karma. I'm a firm believer of it. I also believe that I believe in minding one's business. And that is the conclusion that I've had to come to. But I also am not going to turn the blind eye like most other people have to the situation because my voice and black and brown voices will be heard one way or the other. We're at the center of this. So we will be heard. This whole thing, right? Like it's not just about race and black and brown people and white supremacy. It's also about police, the FOP. It's not just about guns. It's also about racist white young men. It's also about CRT. It's also about abortion rights and the leaked Supreme Court documents and ruling. It's about Democrats. It's about the election. All these things tie into each other. All these things are things that people are not thinking about all together. They all tie into one another. And you've got nothing but rich, white, liberal people or middle class liberal people trying to dictate and steer where things are going when they don't even fucking know themselves. It's a madhouse. The whole fucking country's a fucking madhouse. And people are so numb to their emotions right now. I know. The point to it is the bigger picture. Again, for me, I'm looking at the bigger picture, and today I got brought back down to a microscopic uh, level. Oh my goodness, I didn't even see the comments. Wow, the rich got richer, and a shitload of people died. Mm-hmm. Nothing to unite us, nothing to help our community, nothing to assist in mental health crisis. Say who it is. Oh, I'm talking about Lancaster Stands Up. It's supposedly local organization um, that likes to strong arm smaller organizations that are actually doing the proper work and trying to unite all of the races and classes together, and also acknowledge that there is race wars going on and there's racism and discrimination, and they call things out as it is. They don't whitewash or sugarcoat anything. This organization I'm speaking of, Lancaster Stands Up, or otherwise known as LSU, they do. They whitewash, they exploit black and brown voices and oppressed and poor voices, and they whitewash it to appeal to their fellow constituents, which are, i.e., rich white people or people in general from the suburbs that really have no association to anything really going on in the city unless they're touring the city, like tourism. Meg said, I think there is definitely racial disparities based on population and location. I think if you break it down to the root, that it's homeless and dispossessed, especially in those who already face racial disparities. No, I am not good. I am not good because I felt I felt disenfranchised and pushed to the side, and I felt like my people's stories, my fellow black and brown people's stories, were used for exploitation to garner some publicity stunt. And it was not cool, it was not fair, it was disgusting, it was despicable, and it was shameful. Shame on them. And this is not the first time that I've seen this happen. I've seen this happen over the past 2 years. And this is indicative of other things that I've seen happen in other places, in other organizations, and not just in Lancaster, but Lancaster, the place where I happen to reside, and I'm seeing it happen right before my eyes. And I'm at the point where I've stepped back and assessed things. I got there today and I sat back and I assessed. I did nothing but sit back and watch. And I cried because I was so disgusted and disappointed and felt invisible as a person of color. And I was not the only person that felt that way. It's sad. It is sad. Prayers are not going to do anything. Marching to a person's office and saying, you better fight for gun. What the fuck? What are we doing here? Where are real solutions? Where are real networking and coming together with people of other organizations, working together with them to have events coming together so that people actually feel a unity? What happened to bringing together other races and shapes and sizes and creeds and people of all types? Not just a bunch of white people or white allies that want to garner a bunch of likes on Facebook. It makes no sense. Trying to get, I can go on and on and on. I'm really disgusted and disappointed. End of that rant. But my point is that the bigger picture of this, white supremacy, Columbine, Oklahoma City. Why do you think nothing has changed? For the same reason nothing has changed with the movement for Black Lives. Think about it. Why has nothing changed with abortion justice? It's like dangling a piece of cheese over someone's head with a stick and saying, come on, come get it, boy. When are we ever going to get these things for real, for real? Understand? I think these are things that we really need to pay attention to instead of just looking and turning a blind eye or making excuses. Why do we keep making excuses for white people? Why are we making excuses for white people that are not trying to unite all people? I think that that's doing more damage than good. And these are my opinions alone. This is how I feel, particularly about a situation that I experienced today, and I felt disenfranchised. And any person of color that I saw walking past, they clearly felt that way too. It's shameful. And for one who exploits and dominates and creates a monopoly and has ties to, white supremacists, and everyone has been questioning things, and I was warned, and so many people are warned about this entity from day one, but no one does anything about it. What is that saying? What is that saying about people in general? And I'm not pointing fingers at individual people, and I'm not saying anyone's a bunch of pussies, but I'm saying, like, seriously, I think that Black and brown people need their own kind of thing in that kind of sense. And there needs to be organizations of all the other types coming together to form an alliance, to start doing the same kind of things in mass, but to the truth, speaking truth to actual power, and not sugarcoating, whitewashing, stealing, and exploiting, right? I just want to I just felt personally the need to give a little story because I felt like it's really indicative of, for me at least, what I've seen happen in so many other cities that had movements across the United States. This is not just an isolated issue here to here in Lancaster where I reside. This is an issue that is nationwide. This is an issue that has quelled the Black Lives Matter movement. A couple days after George Floyd's 2-year anniversary of his murder, and no one's really talking about it because we're talking about the issue of the school shootings. But all of this stuff ties in together. We should be talking about all of this because what does it come down to? Lobbyists, money, the two-party system, voting. They're doing all of these things to make you vote as Democrats. And then what's going to happen? Who are we voting for? Seriously. Y'all ain't voting for Biden. There's 2 years left. Who are y'all voting for? I'm really curious. So there's this massive scramble by these Democrats that don't know what the fuck they're doing. The right is solid. They're good. They know what they want. They know what they're trying to do. And they got the fucking money behind it. Guess what? Democrats got the money behind it too. But they've got everyone else so confused. Real shit. Organize. That is the name of the game. Organize. And I think now of all times, I was talking to a friend and I was talking about Southern Market the other in one of the previous podcasts. For those in Lancaster City who live in, where I reside, there is the Southern Market, and we've talked about that in previous episodes, right? So it's a little piece of real estate, a monopoly piece, if you will, that is set to spur off gentrification and spur off the cost of living to rise in the southern sector of the city, which is the poorest and most low-income sector of the city, right? And this place was supposed to pander to Black and brown people, say, oh, this is places for y'all. We're giving you this, and we're going to provide jobs, and yada, yada, yada. How many jobs are you providing? And you're providing service-level jobs. Yes, a massa kind of jobs to people who are going to be serving bougie white people who are paying $20 for a meal. Who, Black and brown, that's in that vicinity of that neighborhood can go into that place, into that market, and buy food from there? Not me. And I know a bunch of people who can't. Talk about it, Matt. So that's my point. You're continuing to push people out and disenfranchise people, and the kind of actions that are going on now are reflective of that. So these people feel comfortable to say, I'm standing up for my people and Black Lives Matter. Clap, clap, clap. Really, do they now? Because I don't see any Black lives here that you're actually standing up for or calling anyone up to speak their accounts of their actual lives and how these 11 people that were killed and slaughtered in broad daylight on live streaming services, how we feel about that. You didn't ask. You didn't bother to seek anyone out. Shame. 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 There's a bunch of things I want to get into, but this specific topic, I felt that it needed its own special episode for itself, and it will be restreamed on YouTube and Twitter. So get ready, Twitter. There's a lot of people who are going to see this. And my point is, it's important for me to voice my experience and how I feel. And if someone is offended or has an issue with my feelings and my experience, that's more indicative of who they are as a person and how they feel about themselves and the work that they're doing. Because I'm not worried about what they're doing. I'm worried about what we should be doing, what the rest of us should be doing. And that's why I felt the need to speak my experience. That's it. I don't feel the need to be petty or start beef or come at people. I'm speaking merely my experience because my life matters. My fellow Black and brown and poor and dispossessed and homeless people's lives matter. But some people don't want to talk about that. So guess what? We have to. All of us have to. That is the point of this episode. To speak truth to power and tell it like it really is. There are all of us that need to come together and really express our pain and our grief about our kids. I don't have any, but I know many who do. All of my close friends have many kids, and this is something that affects them greatly. And guess what? A lot of them are people of color. These people need their voices heard. These people, yes, these people need their voices heard. So we will be doing some kind of event in the Leon block. We'll definitely keep you posted on that. And we will be sending out information to people. We will keep it. It's going to be more thought out, and it's going to be more representative of the people that it actually affects. And we will be speaking facts. And yes, we will be sending, great vibes and prayers out into the universe. But this is not. We're done with prayers. We're done with prayers. I don't need a preacher to come talk to me about my people when they're not even of my people. I need to feel safe. I need community. I need to be around people that understand my grief, that understand how this oppression, on top of the oppression I'm already feeling, is making me feel. And that's how I felt today, oppressed, at a place where I'm supposed to be grieving. Make that make sense. Right? So, again, I will keep you all posted on everything. Matthew Rosing says June 4th, Poor People's Campaign is coming to Lancaster, and the Leon Block Independent Media will keep you posted on more information concerning this. More information will be coming out soon, so stay tuned for that. And of course, as you already know, we've been talking about it for a couple weeks now. We will be in DC on June 18th. The day we'll be there on the 17th and 18th. We will be giving you footage from the Poor People's Campaign, the mass descend upon DC. You don't want to miss that. Thank you, Matthew Rosing, actually, for bringing that up. That is actually very important and pertinent to what we're talking about here. The fact that we need more organizations and people coming together and uniting and being outspoken and vocal about what their experience is as people. And I can say, and if you've seen events that we've shared here from Put People First and Poor People's Campaign, the events in the rallies and the actions that are given and that are presented are ones of wholeness and wholesomeness, and one that actually speaks to the actual narratives, the truthful narratives of what's going on, and paint it in the best picture possible that the average person can dissect and know and agree with and understand. So thank you, Matt, again for that. Yes, the Leon Block will definitely be there. All right, y'all, we're going to wrap this one up. I wanted to give my testimony and my experience and my story. We will restream this. Right now, it is in the Leon Block Independent Media group, the Leon Block the Leon Block Independent Media page, my personal Facebook page, and it will be streamed later on to YouTube and Twitter. So stay tuned for that. If you have any questions, concerns, any stories you want to send my way, you can hit us up at theleonblock@gmail.com. You can also hit us up at our Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You can listen to our podcast on Spotify. We have 2 new episodes coming out tonight with our guy, Uncle Mike. You can text us 484-909-0873. And you can also donate. It helps. It goes a long way to ensure that we are bringing you the news that you need, like accounts like this. So the Venmo and the Cash App are at the bottom of the screen. Again, we love to hear from y'all. Thank you for listening and tuning in. If you are just tuning in, rewind that back and listen to the beginning. All right. We love y'all. Make sure you meditate on your path, celebrate your being, liberate your spirit, and educate yourself. Have a good one, y'all.
Talk to us about looting. Y'all are the looters. America has looted black people. America looted the Native Americans when...
prayed, and I'm like, God, no matter what it is, give me. They don't want us to succeed.
Black Lives Matter all day, every day.